Hi, everybody. Like I say in all my videos, I'm not responsible if anybody gets hurt. It's just my opinion. Today I'm going to be talking about Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle Reiner. He was born March 3rd or 4th in 1947. He grew up in New York, and he moved to Hollywood, and he was an actor and producer and writer, and he was in a lot of different shows. He was in his breakout show was All in the Family, and he also was in The Partridge Family. I saw him; he played a guest star in other TV shows. And like I said, his breakout was All in the Family. He played Mike Civic, and he played Meathead. He played a liberal, and in real life, I guess he was considered one. And he was married twice. One was with Penny Marshall from 1970 one to 1981, and he had one daughter in that marriage. He adopted her, and then he got married in 1989 to Michelle and had 3 children with her. I think it's two. I think he had 2 boys and a girl from that marriage, and he also he wanted to leave All in the Family, so he decided to direct Spinal Tap, and he also did Lean on Me, which was a good movie, and a few more, a few great men with Tom Cruise, Demi Moore, and Jack Nicholson and Kevin Bacon, which was a great movie. And he did a lot of other movies, some comedies too. So he liked to do that. And also, like I said, he had 3 children with his wife, and they were married for a long time. And then in December, uh, his youngest daughter, who's 28, Romney, and was worried about her parents because they didn't come to the door, and the massage person came to the door, and they couldn't. They knocked on the door, and no one answered, and they were worried, and so the massage person called and said, "I'm worried about your parents because they aren't coming to the door and they're not returning the calls or anything." So they got worried. So she went with her roommate, and she went inside, and she found her father, Rob, dead on the floor, stabbed multiple times, and she must have had post-traumatic stress. That's what I'm guessing. And she came out screaming, and it was in major shock. That would shock anybody. And she told her roommate to call 911, and then the police came, in the coroner, and she found out that her mother died. That must have been really stressed out. I feel bad for her and the family. Finding out that your parents were killed, it's really disgusting. The way you have to die that way, by homicide, someone murdering you. And then and before this, there was a fight the night before. He brought his son, Nick, lived on the property, um, in one of those cabanas, a separate house on the property. He lived separately, so they had a fight because he was acting weird. He's on drugs, and and Rob didn't want to leave his son home alone. God forbid a 32-year-old can't be left alone. Anyway, they they had a fight because he was acting weird and strange on drugs. So I think that's what broke the camel's back, and I think they thought of kicking him out, and not paying for his drug habit, and paying because I kept on cleaning up after him. Like every time was like he would destroy the place where he was living, they would fix it up or give him money, and end up doing drugs and being with women and doing God knows what else, alcohol or whatever. So he destroyed it, and they probably had enough. And they said they said that when they found the body, they think it was in the bedroom, and or something like that. They're not 100% sure, and they think that they found him. They said he was staying in a hotel, and or his house, and he had blood. He took a shower, and he brought a change of clothes, and they found, and surveillance at one of those markets where you get gas and soda and stuff like that, and he doesn't drive, so they had cameras, and he was very calm, and he got one of those powder drinks, and because I think the place where he was is known a drug place, and the cops got him, and he just put up his hands, and he's out without bail, and they arrested him, and he's on suicide watch, and they said that he got a high-priced lawyer. The lawyer that helped that woman who ran over that person got off, which I think she shouldn't have, which I think sucks. I think if you run some over, you should end up in the prison or something. Anyway, so they also say that he planned it. They think he planned it because they think he said, well, they were trying to sleep, and he came back and he killed them by doing their neck, and he didn't want them to fight, so they slit his neck, his parents' neck, and then their arms, like maybe they were trying to defend themselves, and he didn't want that. So I think it was a lot of things that were boiling over. He didn't want to be homeless, because he was homeless a bunch of times, and he didn't want that, and he didn't like, I guess he thought, I'm just thinking, this is me, I think he thought his parents made him look bad in front of the guest, when it was his parents who, he should be grateful for what and now he's charged with the murder. He ruined his life, and everybody else, he murdered his parents, the only people who really truly loved him, and now they said he's either going to go in prison or or they might try him as the death penalty. Some people think he is mentally ill. Maybe he does have. What I seen of him, this is just my opinion, that he might have bipolar. Somebody said he has what is it called? When you get hear voices, or have a disability or ADHD or something. I have ADHD and a learning disability, but I wouldn't do that. I don't know. I think he's either bipolar, acid. I don't know if he has a small amount of Asperger or whatever. He has mental health. Maybe I think he's narcissistic, because I don't think he felt any regret, because he showered himself and he went and get a drink. He had no remorse on killing his parents. So he should never be out on the street. He should not have bond. In my opinion, I think his family wants him in prison for life or in a mental hospital. I don't think being mentally unstable gives you the right to kill someone. I don't care. And he was never sexually or abused. They loved him. He was just an ungrateful, spoiled little brat. He probably became a narcissistic, I think even when he was a child, I think he was disturbed as a child, because he had a yoga instructor. They said he was hyper, like boys are, but still he had issues. They said in some interviews that he was high as a kite with his sister, and he was smoking a cigarette, and the dog was barking, and he said, oh, if that dog doesn't effing off, I'm going to shut the F off. I'm going to kill it. I'm thinking this person is mentally disturbed, even if he wasn't on drugs, saying that about a dog or an animal. People who are narcissistic or sociopaths, psychopaths, want to out animals, and they're destructive. He destroyed a lot of their property, and he didn't care. He has no remorse about destroying his family stuff. And he's destroyed any life he ever going to have being out in public. He'll never set foot outside of a jail ever again. Very, very unlikely he is going to spend the rest of his life in prison if he doesn't get the death penalty. In my opinion, this is just mine. Sorry, my dog's having her face. She likes to be the center of attention sometimes. Um, um, in my opinion, a lot of people might not agree. They say, "Oh, you sick? You should give him some slack." No, he crossed the line, killing him if they find him guilty. I think he should get the death penalty. That's my opinion, because he took his parents' life. They say that's an eye for an eye. It's not. It's justice. He killed them. It was premeditated. He waited till they were asleep, if that's where it was, and he slit the throat. There's no going back. He crossed the line. He killed them. He should go to, he won't get the death penalty. Are you kidding? You got too much of a high price lawyer for that. The most he'll get is, I don't think he will get out. No one would stand for that. I wouldn't stand for that, because he's not safe. He could do it again. He's an addict. He ruined the chances. They gave him so many chances, like 17 chances, and he blew it. And then he did this. No, I think he should get the death penalty. When you murder someone like that, should get the death penalty. No forgive and no forget. That's just my opinion. I'll make upcoming videos about the trial and other things like this. You guys take care and be safe, and bye.